Hello and welcome to another episode of Pyro Unleashed. Tune in weekly as Donnie and David discuss all things pyro, from the business aspect of the industry to technical tips and mesmerizing pyro designs. On Pyro Unleashed, we invite cutting-edge experts to the podcast to discuss their role in making this industry a success. So, sit back and unleash your inner pyro with us.
All right, well, there we go, Donnie. It's episode number 5. How are you doing tonight?
Absolutely, yeah, doing great. Been a busy week, kind of doing some scripting and stuff on some other shows coming up, and you've been scripting some stuff coming up for your own shows as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, James and I have been super busy with scripting CobraCon's closing display, and really looking forward to that. So
yeah, absolutely. So episode 5, we have sponsorship tonight from Muxboard. Connect more e-matches in less time with Muxboard. Whether you're using traditional or quick plug e-matches, Muxboard offers an alternative to standard slats on the market. Customize your firing system and work smarter with slats, breakout boards, and conversion kits from muxboard.com. That's MUUXBRD.com to improve your workflow and get the most out of your system. As a thank you for supporting Pyro Unleashed and Muxboard, get a free quick split breakout board with your next order before March 31st when you mention Pyro Unleashed when you place your order. Go to muxboard.com/unleashed for more details.
all right, and thanks again, CJ, for the sponsorship. We really appreciate it. I know you've been making some posts on Facebook and really trying to get the word out about us, and we really do appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, well, this week we have Craig Hetherington, the second vice president of PGI. How are you doing, Craig?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Good, man. I appreciate you coming
Wonderful.
on and talking about PGI and getting the word out there about this year's convention. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Pretty excited to catch up with you guys and talk more about the organization.
Yeah, perfect. Well, I guess let's kind of jump off the deep end on this. Tell us a little bit about you and how you kind of got involved in Pyro.
So PGI happened to be in Appleton in 2006, and I was on the other side of the fence as a spectator and thought it was a pretty cool event and something that might be kind of interesting to me. So I showed up every night outside the gate watching and in awe, and was like, wow, this is pretty cool. So after that left town, I kind of got tied up with a display company or two and started shooting displays. And then after getting tied up with a display company, got tied up with a guy who was with PGI. And when it came back to Appleton in 2010, he said, would you like to kind of help, set the site up and do that kind of thing and whatever? And I'm like, yeah, it could be kind of fun. Let's do that. Little did I know, 12 days later, I would be standing knee deep in water, passing Dr. X salutes to everybody while the flood was coming. So that was been an adventure. And I've been with PGI ever since with various roles. And I've been shooting pyro now. This is my 17th or 18th year of doing 1-3 displays and just kind of tooling along, I guess.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And how long have you been on the board, Craig?
I just currently got on the board in August here. I was elected on. I was with site crew originally, safety. Then I was in charge of all the rental equipment that we rent for convention. And then I was the host for the 2023 convention. That was the site that I found and developed and stuff like that. So the board has been an interesting role. There's a lot of stuff that goes on outside of the week or 2 weeks a year that we like to say. This is a 52-week-a-year organization. When you're on the board, there's stuff going on every week. I get emails all the time, all day, all night. People are sending stuff. So it's not just a week thing like people think.
Yeah, no, we appreciate all the time and effort that everybody on the board puts into this. We know it's more than just a week long, being that, I work in the firework industry. I see that it's not just, 1 week out of the year. It's 365. We live, breathe, sleep. Everything fireworks. So I love it. I wouldn't do it without being truly passionate about it. So,
Yeah, I
um,
think with PGI, I'm also the convention business manager, so I'm working on contracts out through 2027, trying to get our venues secured for those years, so people can have that information ahead of time, and hoping to, you know, I have all the displays kind of booked this year, and hoping to get people booked for the next 2 years or a year out or whatever it is and stuff, so they have time to do what they need to do. So I'm working around the clock to get some of this stuff done, and it's a daunting task, that's for sure. But I can say that there's a lot of other people. It's not just myself. There's a lot of other people that are helping and doing stuff. So it's a team effort.
yeah, wonderful. So I know you mentioned you've been in the pyro for what, 18 years. How did you get involved in fireworks, and who do you shoot for, and what all do you do?
Well, I got involved in fireworks when I was 5. My grandfather brought back some firecrackers and bottle rockets from Texas, and my parents didn't think it was a great idea, but here we go. We're going to shoot some bottle rockets in the yard and light some firecrackers off. And I actually have a picture of my dad and I when I was about that age. There's some firecrackers and some bottle rockets, and we're holding a sparkler together. And it's one of the greatest pictures I'll have. So yeah. So and then I currently shoot for J&M Displays. So
Okay.
I've been shooting with them for probably 7 or so years, and I'm typically in the Milwaukee area around the 4th of July is where I find me on shows, and we do the big lakefront show in Milwaukee. Um, it has been as large as 3 big barges. Last
Wow.
year we were down on we were on land. We moved it to land because the barges are just getting too expensive. But it takes about a dozen of us 6 to 7 days to set it up. So um, there's a lot going on and a lot of moving parts, and the team is really great down there to work with and fun. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Yeah. So as we kind of dive in a little bit, talk more about the PGI itself. How long has PGI been around?
they were founded in 1969, and just a small group kind of got together, and they had their first convention in I believe 1971, and it's kind of been getting together at various places throughout the United States ever since.
And what has been the attendance average for some of the past few PGIs?
It kind of varies depending on locations. When we get out to Gillette, it gets a little less just because of the distance and such. We typically average about, we kind of go off of primary members, and then you have your spouses and children that add into this. So we typically in Gillette will have 14 to 1600 primaries, and typically another 800 spouse and 200-ish, 300-ish kids. Um, some of the conventions in Appleton have had upwards of 4,000, but we're typically around the, 14 to 1,700 primaries with, another 4 to 6 or 700 spouses. And depending on when it is, 2 to 400 kids or so.
Nice, nice. And so as a pyro, and I'm looking maybe to get involved with the PGI, how much are membership dues, and what does a pyro get out of PGI? What does PGI do for the people who are members?
So to the dues are you have to be a member of the organization, which the first year membership is $100, and then the renewing membership is $70. And then we have convention dues if you're going to show up to convention, and those are typically around $235-$45 for a primary, and a spouse is half of that, and kids are like $30 or something. We just actually launched our new website, and part of the membership fee we've launched a online form and things like that to stay connected with people in the community and stuff. So we're hoping that brings some more value to our membership. But you get 5 bulletins a year that are published with articles, and some people do articles about building rockets, or making stars, or putting together a shell, or any kind of sorts of things that people can come up with. And so you get that 5 times a year. You get a nice, cool calendar that has firework pictures and stuff that everybody likes to hang up and be able to see. And and you just get to stay up. We have an email list that people can email if you have questions, or if people are selling stuff or things of that nature. That's kind of our benefits of what it is. And we also send people to some of the board members go to like APA and NFA and things of that nature. So those dues help keep our best interest in what's going on, and for the hobbyist and things like that.
And I do enjoy the nice hard copy bulletins. I have a stack of them. They're great to keep around and look through.
Yeah, same.
Time. I love getting that hard copy bulletin.
Yeah, there's definitely people who like the hard copy. We have talked about possibly doing with our new website, we can do them as a PDF kind of a thing, so people can go on and read them. And people are either on one side of the fence or the other. It doesn't seem like they're like, yeah, whatever. It's I really want the hard copy. I really got to have that hard copy.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
So I think you mentioned about the PGI website. What is that, and what all can be found on the website?
So the web address is pgi.org, and we are in the process of getting everything kind of up. As of January 1, we flipped over to a new system. Jack Stromberg is our IT geek, and he has taken this and he is just running with it. And we're trying to get the basic functionality up. We have huge, long goals of things that we're going to try to do but some of the things you can do is we have the online form. We have a picture section where people can come and see the pictures from past years and share stuff like that. But yeah, we're hoping to be able to. We're talking about experimenting with the competition online scoring, so it would be virtually live or lagged like a minute or something to that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so you'd be able to see it. If you're at the Afterglow and you want to see what it was, or you'd be able to go right to the website and see it. We talked about having an app at some point in time that has a public and a private side. My goal and dream is to have a uploaded map that uses your phone that you can walk around, and it'll show you what seminar you're at or where you are on the grounds, which are all possible. It's just we're a volunteer organization, and we're just trying to be able to do a basic checkout system for convention fees currently. So we'll get there, but it's a task.
Awesome. So about the convention, if somebody's been to, say, CobraCon or Sky Wars, how does PGI compare to one of those?
Well, we're different. Some of those are, a weekend event. We're a week-long event. So we have all sorts of different things. We have nightly displays. We have competition. We have open shooting. We have seminars. We have trade show. You can buy chemicals. We have Class C sales. Trying to think what else I'm missing, but we have all sorts of different wide variety of things for people to come and enjoy. And, I think the biggest benefit out of things at PGI is just the family. After you go enough years, you start meeting people, and you have these good friends across the country, and you can't wait to hang out with them again for a week and, catch up, see what happened, what they did, or what shows they did, or what's going on, and things like that. I think it's a big family reunion, as I call it. So you're at a place for a week with like-minded people that love pyro, and it's like Disneyland for pyro.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, I know every time I've gone, it's always been a great time. Lots of great vendors, trade show is always fun. Shows are always absolutely amazing, top of the line. So, and then as a first timer, obviously I've been, but maybe for somebody that hasn't been before, what could a first timer expect going to PGI?
Overload.
Overload, like
It's
firework overloads, or like an
Exactly.
like an
No.
overloaded.
Just like a brain stimulation overload. There is so much stuff going on every which way you turn. I mean, all of our shoot lines open at 5 o'clock, and people just want to shoot product, and they don't really care what time it is. And it's you can. It seems like you can always go somewhere, and something's going up or something's going off, or who really knows. And you run into people you don't even know that you might know, or you make friends with people, and just by the shirt you have on, kind of a thing, or people are walking and you just start making friends. And it's there's just so much going on that around that place. It's hard to kind of keep track of it as a first timer. We do have a seminar for first time people that show up to convention, if they so choose to want to show up, and we basically take you on a tour of the entire property. So we'll take you and show you the trade show. We'll take you and show you the B line. We'll take and show you Class C, and take you to the rocket line, and show you where the display field is, and all that kind of stuff. Just because it's a big piece of property. Like this year, it's a huge piece of property, and people probably, if they didn't really know what was going on, they might not make it to the rocket line for a few days because it's that far away from Class C. And
Yeah.
So a first timer, it is daunting to try to take that on. Last year, there was a fella. I was driving around in my cart going somewhere, and I typically try to pick people up if they're walking off from a ride, if they so choose. And this gentleman hopped into my cart, and I'm like, "Where are you going?" He goes, "Where are you going?" And I don't remember where I was going. But anyway, long story short, I said, "I have to go here, and then I'll gladly give you a tour." Long story short, this was his first convention. He was there 2 hours, and I gave him a personal tour around the entire property, and took him out to Area 51, and got to see meet Jim Whitman and Eric and the guys that did the Guinness World Record, and it was one of the greatest things I could do to give back to somebody. And it always seems every year there's some story that happens to be similar to that with somebody, and whatever. But it's my joy to be able to give new people tours and show them and see how excited they are. And it's just really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you mentioned 5 o'clock is the time that fireworks start. How do people know when it's time to shoot fireworks?
Well, there's kind of an unwritten rule that at 5 o'clock, our shoot lines open. And typically, there will be a large salute that goes up to signify 5 o'clock. And you never ceases to amaze me. You get out to the B line about 4:45 or so, and especially on the first day, it's standing room only. There's no room to park cars or carts or anything, and there's probably 400, 500, 600 people standing out just waiting for that one salute to go off. There could be nothing else out there,
Oh
just
yeah.
one salute. And sure crap, it goes up, and it's a loud bang, and either convention's open or open shooting's open for the day, and then it's fair game until we
Nonstop.
shut her down. Yep.
Yep, nonstop until 1 a.m. That's for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, so talking about maybe going to this year's convention, can you talk a little bit about this year's site, kind of maybe the layout of it a little bit, and some of the accommodations that might be available around the area?
Sure. So this year we're going to be in Brainerd, Minnesota, and the convention opens on August 3rd through August 9th, and Brainerd International Raceway. The people at the facility are wonderful. It's a huge facility. They have the rocket line to Class C is probably not walkable unless you really want a really pretty good walk. It's a pretty big area. The display field is really pretty wide open. We're going to cap it at 600 feet wide, but we are going to let people angle out at stage left and stage right if they so choose. Just a lot of open area. They have it's called the Wheelie Bar. They're going to be open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We're going to put our Afterglow tent right outside so people can, if they want a beer and they want to get a cocktail, they can go inside and get a cocktail. If they, don't like the food, they want to go in and get food, they'll be serving food and breakfast and lunch and all that kind of stuff. I think the facility is great. There's going to be a few more things in tents this year than in past years, just due to the lack of buildings at a raceway. But we're working through those challenges and trying to get the same square footage that we would have had at a different place. So, the trade show will have the same footprint that we had and all sorts of stuff, and it should be great.
Yeah,
As you're talking about, getting around to different parts of the site, what transportation modes can people use on site? Go-karts, e-bikes, ATVs. I mean, what's allowed for people to be able to use to get around?
So we kind of have a policy where you have, staff has carts or UTVs. We have a cart sponsorship program, as we call it, and we allow people to help sponsor a cart, and then they're allowed to either bring or rent a cart at their expense to try to get around. We kind of try to limit carts. Otherwise, there'd be 600 or 800 of the things running around and you wouldn't get anywhere. This site is so big, I recommend people bring a bike, bring an e-bike, use your car, use your truck, grab a lift with somebody. If you're going to walk and somebody has a cart and they're going away, see if you can catch a ride. It's really spread out. It's really big. We're possibly talking about doing kind of like a PGI Uber system where we'd have some bus stops set up, on one end to the other and kind of in between to try to help alleviate it just being as big. It might be bigger than Newton in 2022.
Awesome. And where is PGI going to be hosted in the next couple of years?
Well, next year we're going to be in Mason City, Iowa. And
okay.
So we'll be down there, which we've been there before. They've changed the track a little bit. But I think with what we have going on and stuff, the fronts will be a little tighter in, but nothing drastic. So, and then 2026, we're talking about possibly coming back to Oshkosh again.
Okay.
I'm working on some contract negotiations currently with them to see if that's something that will fly. I'm working also with possibly Gillette, Wyoming, to go back out there, and Brainerd has already talked to us about possibly coming back in 2028.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I told him to pump the brakes a little bit. Like let's do one.
Yeah,
and make sure that we're all on board on both sides. But that just kind of shows you how excited they are, and the word's getting out up there. That there's a casino. They're about 35, 45 minutes away, and now they want to do a VIP package and bus all these people in, wow. And it's just like word's getting out, and it's just starting to snowball. And I think they're freaking out a little bit. We try to cap the public, we have to give them a number for tickets. So we told them, 10,000 tickets or 9,500 or whatever it was. And Christy comes back. She goes, I think I'm going to need some more tickets. I'm like, okay, well, what are you thinking? She goes, I don't know. What more can you give me? I'm like, all right. So I called her back and I'm like, how about does 13.5 sound good? She goes, yeah, that should be good. I'm like, I got to tell you, if you sell 13.5 for all three display nights, we can talk when we come back because you're going to be begging for us to come back.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it seems like, she's working with a new marketing company to get it out there, and she calls them, oh yeah, we heard about that already. And it's just word keeps spreading, and it's just really kind of crazy. I've never been part of it like this, how it just spread like wildfire, and it's kind of unreal.
Well, I think you and I were talking previously. You had already talked to, I believe, the fire chief out there, and he was just super ecstatic about having us out there himself.
Yeah, that was the state fire marshal,
okay,
Rexon, and I called him the first time introduced who I was and kind of, what we're thinking. And they have Minnesota is a very strict consumer firework law. So
Yeah.
it always was a no-go. And Joe found the site and he's like, it'll work. And I'm like, yeah, I know it'll work, but we got to get the fire marshal on board. So I introduced myself and we're talking and stuff. And he's like, finally you guys are going to come back here. Finally, you're going to come to this state after you've gone every state around me. We are so excited to have you and we cannot wait for you to be here. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So as we talk about some of the communities and stuff like that, what challenges does PGI face when we're trying to do a convention with the community and stuff like that? What are some of those challenges that we run into?
Oh, there's all different ones. There's some off the chart ones, and there's the normal noise complaint ones. I think a lot of them is the 1 o'clock shooting, and people really get bent out of shape about having to shoot fireworks till 1 a.m. And other people are like, well, why do you got to shoot fireworks past midnight and stuff? And this past year was pretty notorious. I was part of many conversations with this 1 a.m. curfew and back and forth. And I kind of got them to understand that there's not a lot of stuff that really happens past midnight. If you kind of go back historically and look at, the last couple of years, about 12:15, 12:30. I mean, most everything's shut down. There's no customers. People want to go to the afterglow and catch up with people. There's not many people that really want to shoot some stuff, except these knuckleheads that want to shoot thunder cakes at 5-1 because they can. And what happens is when you do something like that, it just ticks off our host city, and we just get backlash, and they don't want us back. So
Yeah.
we've kind of have like an internal, like we shut everything down at midnight type of a thing, just to play nice with our neighbors because, hey, it's school night. Put yourself in their shoes, and would you be happy if your house was shaking at 5-1 in the morning because a big bottom shot was going off and you had to get up for work at 4:30?
Yeah,
Probably
for
not.
sure.
So, if we could be courteous to these places, and finding venues to do what we do is getting harder and harder and harder. It just, after last year, we had a couple complaints, but nothing drastic. Nobody
That's
was
good.
super mad because their house was shaking at 1 a.m. So, back in LaPorte, 2012, there was an animal shelter across the street. So we actually paid to move, or we gave a donation to relocate the dogs and cats too, just because we knew we would have been a nuisance to them. So, there's a lot of weird things that we run into with, neighbors and, landowners and things like that. But so far we've been able to navigate it. So it's worked pretty good for us so far.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have a question from one of our listeners. Uh, Ellery Ho was wondering, I know he's done several of the smaller competitions. He was asking if PGI is considered reversing the change and bringing back the 1.4 Pro to the small class.
To small class?
Yeah.
I was talking to Bob Hollenbeck, our competition chair, about that. And I'm going to have to say, from what he has told me and what he thinks, probably not.
Okay.
So the reason being is it's the one category that people can come and compete and not have to worry about getting the 1.4 Pro and all that kind of stuff, that they can just go into Class C if they would like, and buy some consumer fireworks and compete. I know it doesn't make for a good display, but everybody's got to kind of start somewhere, and that's kind of the starting category, unfortunately. And I kind of agree with them. If we keep getting more technical and more technical, we're not going to get new people kind of into it. So it's one of those things, unfortunately.
Yeah, understandable. And you mentioned before that there were kids that came, obviously, with their parents and whatnot. Is there something for the kids to do during the week at the convention?
Yeah, we have a program. It's called the JPA, the Junior Pyro Association, which is an association inside of PGI. And it's from kids 6 or 7, all the way up till 17. And they basically put on a display on Wednesday night. And they will script, put together, purchase all all the fireworks that are used in that show, as long as it's 1-4, because there are some 1-3 that gets donated in there. But it's all done with under the supervision of their parents or other adults that are there that want to help out. And it's a great way for kids to get involved, and it keeps them busy from their parents. If one wants to go one way and the other can go with them to the JPA, and it's a great organization. And this year, my son's he's going to do it, I think, for the first time. So we'll see how that works out. But yeah, it should be. The display is great. It's usually like 18 to 22 minutes long, and they're just
Awesome.
messy, going off all over the place. And if it was an adult, might not be that great. But since these are 10, 12-year-olds that are scripting this, 15-year-olds, like, yeah, this is not bad for a teenager to do, and it keeps them out of mischief.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I mean, it's pretty impressive, some of the stuff that they do come up with. So
Yeah, absolutely,
yeah.
I agree.
And tell us a little bit more about some of the classes happening this year.
So Dan Muzzy, our seminar chair, is working on getting all these seminars, as we call them, which are classes. They typically happen from 8 o'clock or so till 5 or so at night. And there's all sorts of different types of classes. You can learn how to build a shell. You can learn how to build a rocket. You can learn how to build stars. Bill Corbett's done fireball classes before. Andy Nichols has done special effect classes before. It's as packed as we can get. I think we have 5 classrooms this year that we can use. So they're going to try to have classes from 8 to 5, 8 to 6. Last I talked to Dan, and it'll be jam packed with our seminars going every day, Sunday through Thursday. Do we stop? Or maybe Friday? No, I think we have some on Friday too.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, a lot of them are free. Some of them will have a minimal charge. Like if you're going to make a 5-inch shell or whatever, they'll ask for a small donation to help cover the materials. Or the small Girandot class, it's like $5 or something minimal. But there's definitely very, very. I mean, they've had seminars with like scripting and putting on pyro musicals. I know Peter Rogos has done that before, and it's free of charge. You can go sit and watch and learn and ask questions and things like that. So we really try to hit the whole spectrum, or I shouldn't say we, but Dan tries to get the whole spectrum of classes for people to learn and stuff like that. So there's kind of a unique class. This is going to be the last year for it. The Mum Pyro class. Derek is going to take a year off next year.
Okay.
So this is going to be the last year for the Mum class, and they basically it's a week-long class, and you build product, and all that product goes into a show Friday night. So you're basically building product and putting on a show at PGI as part of a class. So yeah, it's always an interesting show at the end of the week. That's for sure.
Yeah, and another question from one of our listeners: what age are you allowed to be on the field with a parent, or are you allowed? Or
so that's we kind of use the 21.
Okay.
Typical. We're talking display field here, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, display field. Typically it's 21. And the reason we kind of do that is there's just so much going on with so much pyro in the field and so many display companies with bodies, and it's almost unorganized chaos, and trying to keep track of everything, of who's going where and what and why and things like that. It just kind of the rule we've used, and it just from a safety perspective and trying to keep track of bodies and things like that. So yeah, we typically observe the 21 to be in the display field.
Okay. Perfect. And then tell me a little bit about some of the competitions that we might see during the week. And yeah.
Yeah, so we have all sorts of different competitions. We have a special effects category. We have a bunch of rocket levels, 1 through 6, I believe. And we have like large comet, large mine, large girandola, unlimited girandola. We have small, large, and unlimited Class C shows. We have, best exhibition ball shell, best exhibition or best cylinder shell, best medium cylinder shell. So it's, we kind of stagger them out throughout the, Sunday through Wednesday night is our competition nights. And we use Thursday as a rain date if needed, but we try to stagger out, an hour of competition or so. And that way we leave for some open shooting after that, so people can get out and get some dark sky, especially on display night, since they don't really get much of that. So,
are those competitions open to anybody?
the competitions are only open to members. Now, I'd be lying if I said there isn't a few public that sticks around for some of those. They do, but any member can enter competition. Any member can watch competition any of the nights. And now some of the higher categories, like best ball shell or exhibition ball shell, I'm not sure if you've never built a shell, if they're going to allow you to go build a 12-inch and put it up. I mean, maybe they would. I don't know. But I think if people want to do that, there'd probably be a few conversations to be had to make sure they knew what they were doing before that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And the nice thing about it too, if you want to build out there, a lot of times you can just go ask people, and they will more than gladly show you the ropes.
Absolutely. That's one of the kind of the big missions that has been kind of going around for the last couple of years, is with the membership getting older. What do we do with all this knowledge that has been around, and how do we get that knowledge to new people that are building or want to build, and things like that? So, it's kind of hard to find some people that want to take on that dedication to learn, but there's definitely people that want to teach, like Jim and Eric and a lot of the all-star guys. They just want to pass on the wealth of knowledge they have to the next person, and it's really just about keeping the art alive.
Yeah, absolutely. So we talked a little bit earlier about the trade show and vending. What is that? What is the trade show? What will you find there? What will you find in the vending areas as well?
Sure. So our trade show is really it runs from 8 to 5, Sunday through Friday. I don't think it's open Saturday. Maybe it is. I don't know. But anyway, there's t-shirt vendors. There's seen people sell hot sauce in there. There's people selling hats and Cobras in there. You can buy Cobra gear. I've seen people sell mortars in there. There's all sorts of trinkets and things that you can find firework related, as you would if it's like a store. There's no live product to be sold in there. Some companies or manufacturers will set up, with some dummy stuff that you can see, walk around and talk to some of the manufacturers and companies and stuff like that. But then we also have a chem vending where you can buy all your the chemicals to make stuff, and hemis and tubes and sticks for rockets and things of that nature. And then we have our Class C area, which you can buy all the Class C to your heart's content. There'll be 2 buildings full this year. I know AJ Burns is working on getting the vendors all lined up for that. But these guys bring in semi-loads and box truck load fulls of product, and their goal is to go home with none of it, and they want it gone.
That's correct.
So, there's I've seen some unreal deals gone down on a Friday evening, that's for sure, because they just don't want to load it back up. So, but yeah, some of the Class C vendors, some of those guys are just, they become good friends, and it's fun just to hang around there because it's close to the Class C shoot line, and people literally will walk in, plop some money down on a cake or whatever, and literally walk out of the building, walk down to the Class C line, light it, watch it, walk back in,
Buy
money
more.
down, grab something else,
Yep.
go right back the same way, and just make a path. They could wear a path in the ground back and forth.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about pyrobelia as well.
Yeah, so pyrobelia is our collectors area where you can buy collectibles of, like old firecrackers and stuff, and old T-shirts and things like that. It's becoming more and more popular. If I would have told you back in 2010, I even knew what it was, I'd be lying to you because I didn't have a clue. But it just seems like it keeps growing every year. Dave Bender I don't know where he gets these guys. They keep coming out of the woodwork, but he's always asking, "Hey, Craig, I need some more tables. I need some more tables. I got more guys. I got more buys." So it's don't know where they're coming from, but it just seems to be growing. And it's kind of cool just to walk through there and see the old, Thunderbomb firecrackers that, my grandfather brought back in Texas, and, it's 5. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah. It's really cool to walk around and just see some of the old stuff. And, yeah, I have a collection myself. Try and keep it small, but when you go to PGI, it's kind of hard to not just grab everything.
Correct.
It really takes you back to being a kid and what fireworks were like when you were a kid, and you get to kind of see what some of those old designs look like.
Yeah, and it just brings back the memories and stuff, and it's really kind of cool. It's the unfortunate part of getting old, but it is kind of cool to see that stuff and come back with the memories that you have from that particular thing, or puts you back in that particular moment. So
we know that PGI works with a lot of volunteers. I mean, that's how we kind of run the convention. What volunteering opportunities do you guys have, and how do people go about signing up for volunteering?
We are an organization run by volunteers. We have, oh man, if anybody's listening, they're gonna bust my balls on this because I am not gonna get them all. There's so many of them. But we have safety and security and site crew and fire med. Dan has some volunteers helping with the seminars to move tables and chairs to a different area or set up and take down. We have food and beverage volunteers that help run the afterglows at night and get all the food ready and get the water and soda and stuff ready, chilling from, during the day. Like I said, I'm going to miss some people. The volunteers that help in the registration area with Gretchen, and helping her do all that so people can get all their credentials to get in and out, and go enjoy the convention. We have tons of volunteers. There's always volunteer opportunities. I mean, there's if you want display field opportunities, they're always looking for volunteers to help drop product or set racks or whatever. And all the people that volunteer down at the Class C line, and then as part of safety and stuff, it just there's hundreds of volunteers, and we're running all over trying to make it the best experience possible for everybody. People want to volunteer. I say it's one of the greatest ways you can give back to the organization, and you'll meet some of the nicest people and have some of the coolest experiences that you never would have had if you didn't. We have if you go to email us at volunteering@pgi.org, and kind of explain who you are, what you're interested in. If you're a heavy equipment operator, we'll get you a site crew. You can help put in mortars or dig into display guns and stuff. Or if your specialty is you know how to do the food and beverage hospitality thing, we'll get you over with Libby, and you can work with her. And it's just maybe you're an off duty, or you're a cop or police officer as your day job. We'll get you over to security. They can always use people to help us out. There's a wide gamut of people and stuff, and volunteering is one of the greatest ways to make PGI a great experience.
Yeah, and huge shout out. Yeah, I'm sure you're going to say this, Donnie. Just huge shout out to all the volunteers. Thank you again. We really do appreciate it. Without you, I mean, this would not be an event that we could all come out to and enjoy. And thank you again.
Yeah, and that's on my list this year, is actually to sign up for a volunteer shift or two. So hoping to be able to.
I know something you can volunteer out there on first Sunday night.
I think I'm already volunteered for that. I think
probably. So, I'm sure people have heard of, PGI from, maybe PGI training. It's kind of a loaded question, but what is PGI training and what all does that allow me to buy for somebody that might not know?
Well, we have the shooters course, the PGI certified shooters course. We teach it every Wednesday of convention. We do that. It's kind of become the staple with all the companies and stuff to try to show you how to properly handle a product and set up and shoot a show and all that kind of stuff. Most recently, it's become this thing of this is how you know to be able to buy the 1.4 Pro type fireworks. So we are experimenting with a modified shooters course, which we're calling Articles of Pyrotechnic Training, I think is what the name kind of got settled on. And we're going to offer one of those type of classes the Saturday of convention on August 3rd. And
Awesome.
this will hopefully allow people to, if that's their goal, is to buy the 1.4 Pro type stuff, to take that class. And they don't need to go shoot a 3-inch shell. They don't need to do all that kind of stuff if that's not their end goal. So we'll have to see how this works, and hopefully it works well, because last year we had a waiting list of over 60 people that wanted to take the shooter class, and we just didn't have room. We were booked full at 120 or 130 that we had.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, that's a lot of people. So, I know we talked about it a little bit already. What is open shooting, and what all does that involve?
So we have our open shooting lines. We have our Class C shoot line. We have our ground salute. We have our rockets, and we have our B line. So each one is pretty much what it says. If you have rockets, or you make rockets, or somebody has rockets, and you want to go shoot rockets, go to the rocket line, the rocket range. The Class C line, we have basically it's all the Class C stuff that's in the barn now. If we have some overloaded things, or we have the heavy loaded stuff, we try to push you to one end of the shoot site of the Class C line, and that way people with their kids can be on one end and playing with some Roman candles or sparklers or whatever they want to do, right? So we have that, and then our ground salute line, Thump Junkies, it's basically salutes, loud bangs, and they'll go to outdo each other and see who can make a louder bang than the other. And then we have our B line, which is all our 1.3 stuff. You can shoot 2.5s all the way up to 16s if you want. If you bring some multi-breaks type of a thing, we have kind of like a super B line that we kind of adapted the line name, but we'll kind of push it back a little further and ask a couple questions just to make sure nothing bad it's going to come back down, or make sure you know what you're doing, especially with the cylinder shells, and how they squish when they come out. Some people just don't understand the mechanics of them. But yeah, you can. We also have a program that if you want to buy the case of 1.3 or whatever, I know Ace will allow you to buy a case of 3s, and Aaron will meet you out there at the B line, and you can fire them to your heart's content.
That's awesome.
He's done that before. A lot of the times if you kind of hang out at these lines and stuff, you start talking to people, and some people just don't really like to light stuff. They just, hey, I just built this 6-inch. I would really like to watch to see what it does. You want to go light it for me? Sure. So there's a lot of people are pretty generous. I've seen people go out there with cases and cases of stuff and just give away to other people to go have fun and get that excitement and enjoyment and stuff. So that happens on all the lines typically every year. So the community is pretty generous. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So talking about the Beeline, I was there last year. Beeline was super busy last year with all the classes, and then you had people out there who had product they wanted to like hand light themselves and stuff like that. Has there been any talk or conversations about having maybe two separate Beelines, one designated for classes, and then one designated more for people to open shoot their stuff?
So, I will apologize. I did not get to the Beeline very much last year. I was being a host. I was all over the place doing 40 things at once. But typically in years past, we typically have racks. We have 3s, 4, 5, and 6-inch racks that we set off to the side that class shells can be shot out of. I don't know if they were done that way last year, but that's typically what happens to try to alleviate that problem of all these people coming out and wanting to, you get 50 kids with 3-inch shells. Well, it just jams up the line, and there's everybody wants to shoot their stuff when it's dark and whatever. So we do have those racks for people to, the class shells to go do. But yeah, the line that, 12, or I mean, so 2.5 up to 12 or 16. We typically don't put a 16 on the ground unless we know somebody wants to shoot it. And obviously we're going to push that back. But it's, if you come out there, they do a kind of a safety course type thing. I think it's like 3:30 or 3 or 4 in the afternoon each day. They'll give you a tag or for your lanyard, so they know that you kind of went through the safety course. And it really just is about getting people out there in the daylight to see how things are laid out, how things work without the hustle and bustle of all these people around. Because, these are all being hand lit. So, when it's dark, I mean, yeah, we have flashlights and things of that nature, but things happen. So it's much easier when the people can just take, you want to stand out for 15 minutes and just get comfortable with it. Great. If you just need to take a 5-minute look, that's cool too. But if somebody isn't comfortable hand lighting their shell, we probably going to have a conversation as to why. If need be, we could definitely put an e-match and electronic fire it if that's the case. But otherwise, a lot of times the guys will just put a lot of chicken wick on it and light it, and you can basically crawl away from it before it goes off. So
yeah. We spent a lot of time back on the Beeline just because it's fun and you get the feel of the shells leaving. I shot a 5-inch ultra last year that didn't quite clear and just evaporated a tube and a bucket. And so safety is always important back there. You're always behind the shipping containers. You have that extra time to get out. And so, but yeah, just the thrill and the feel of feeling the shells leave the tubes back there by hand lighting them is quite the experience to be able to go and do.
Yeah, absolutely. We've probably back in LaPorte Part 1, 2012, we threw steel about 2,300 feet in the air. Ooh. And there was a video I saw of the steel going right through the shipping container. And Scott Gray was about 5 feet to one side. And so we threw it about 23-ish, 100 feet in the air over the crowd, back to the campground. And after that, we kind of were like, well, we got to do something. So we have been getting rid of our steel every year since. And we've gotten a pretty good system down of getting rid of steel. We have some thick wall poly and some thick wall fiberglass to handle these larger diameter cylinder shells that guys seem to overlift sometimes. And but yeah, we've it kind of freaked us out throwing steel that far, and I don't think people understand the energy that some of these can do. And if I recall, I believe that was only a 6 or an 8. It wasn't like a 12 or 10. I mean, it was. I think it was a 6 if I remember right. So just the energy out of something like that is, it's enough to freak somebody out.
Yeah, for sure. So I know we're kind of talking about hand firing. What's the biggest size shell that somebody can hand fire if, some of the thump junkies out there want to um, light a bigger shell.
I've seen people hand light 16s.
Awesome. Okay.
So,
And I guess that leads me to my next question. I didn't mean to cut you off, but what's the biggest size shell we can shoot at PGI this year?
uh, um, we can shoot 24s.
Okay. All right.
So
That's awesome.
we have the distance for it. Uh, I know Jim Whitman is making his mortar. The ID is 22.5. I know he's making one of those for sure. There's been rumors to other people bringing some true 24s. We'll have to see what happens, but yeah, we have room for that, and I'm sure there'll be enough 16s and 12s and 10s. I mean, those seem to be pretty common, and
Yeah.
It's fun to see those big shells go up, in the air by themselves, and you actually get to see what they are.
Yeah. Awesome. And then obviously, if you're a member, you can shoot as long as you're over 21. You can shoot the bigger shells then.
Yep. As long as you're over 21, you can shoot those on the B line. Like I said, we just ask that you stop out earlier in the afternoon, 3, 4. I forget what time the safety walk around thing is, but just ask you to stop around and take a look and just kind of see the lay of the land, because it always changes up every year a little bit. There's some quirk, or we decide to put the small caliber stuff on the left instead of the right, or versa vice. It's just a matter of what how the lay of the land is around. So once you do that, then you're good to go, and you can on your way out there stop at the magazine and check out whatever you want to shoot. If you got a case of shells, you want to take 5, you just grab 5 shells and go, or whatever you have, and then you'll come up, and we have a ready box, which is one of our shipping containers, is 20, and you will stash them in there, and you can bring them out, at 5 o'clock and say, oh, I'll be back later or whatever. You just put your name on a box or a piece of tape or whatever, somehow to identify them, and they can sit in there for a while if you want, or if you're ready to shoot them, bring you up to the line and load them up and shoot away and repeat as much as you'd like.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We're kind of move into, I guess, touch a little bit here on manufacturing. Can anyone that's a member manufacture?
That's a good question. I believe they have I think it's an 18 or older to be able to manufacture. They have a little safety course that they do in there. You got to wear your safety glasses and things like that. And so you stop in, they'll go through all that, and you got to sign a waiver and all that kind of stuff. So it's just a matter of going there, and there's people in there that will show you what to do if you're looking for help, or if you know what you're doing, and they'll ask a few of those questions to kind of gauge what you know or don't know, and if they want to pair you up with a buddy or something to kind of go through some stuff. But any member can do.
Are there rules around what you can and can't manufacture or do in manufacturing?
In manufacturing, you can press rockets. You can build shells and stuff. We don't allow you to mix flash unless you're mixing a kind of binary. But there's no open mixing of flash whatsoever, just because of all the people so close by and such. So, but yeah, otherwise, our main manufacturing area, you're allowed to build up to 6-inch. If you're going to build over 6, like 8s, 10s, 12s, 16s, etc., we have a large manufacturing area that's out yonder away from everybody, and that's where we will ask you to go to do that. And there is an additional waiver that you have to sign to be out there, just because of the caliber that you're building.
And if somebody wants to manufacture, how do they go about reserving a spot for manufacturing?
They opened their registration, I believe it's May 1st. And we are working on getting in years past, you would send an email to the manufacturing chair and they would put you on the list. But this year we're hoping to have, as part of our new website, a form right on there that you just put your name and who you are, whatever, and you hit submit, and it automatically takes care of everything behind the scenes for you. but that should typically go up on May 1st or very close to there. So, yep, just go sign up. And I think typically we allow 50 spots or 40 to 50 spots, depending on the space we have. And it's just a first come, first serve basis.
So is that May 1st the date that the convention opens up as well?
Yes.
Convention registration?
Yep. Convention registration is going to open May 1st, which is typically what we do in years past. So we'll have an early bird sale basically. So, I think it's typically a month or a month and a half, would be say like the 235 or whatever. And then after that, we call what's late registration, and the price they add, I don't know, $50 or something like that, just to try to get people in.
Awesome. Well, I guess kind of now's the time. I guess, Donnie, we've been kind of holding out a little bit. We also do have AJ Plata and James from RKM here. How are you guys doing tonight?
Not too bad. And yourself, brother?
Good, man.
Doing good. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Perfect. If you don't know, AJ held the Cobra record for like 24 hours, by the way, at Skywars. So.
No. I hold the 1.4G Cobra Q count. Okay, you hold the 1.3 with a third of the budget.
A third of All right. All right.
I'm just playing around.
So, you guys want to kind of tell us why you're here?
Yeah, go ahead, AJ.
Oh, okay. Well, this year, me and David are shooting the opening shows at PGI for, was it public displays, correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
So
Craig,
you want to say it? You want to say it?
Craig, go ahead and take it away, brother. You're here. You're the man for PGI. So
It's just a normal fella like everybody else. Yeah. So Sunday night, we our display lineup is the NLP is going to be doing the national anthem, and then Jordan and Pyroland are going to be doing a show, and then we have the RKM takeover. So this is going to be exciting.
Yeah, official. Yeah. So I guess since we are already here talking about this, what shows are we looking at for Wednesday, and what shows are we looking at for Friday night?
Yeah. So Wednesday, we have the JPA, the Junior Pyros. They're going to do their show, and then a couple of the kids from JPA are going to put together the national anthem. And then we also have North Star Fireworks is going to be doing a show. And we also have Big Sky that's doing a show. And then on Friday night, Dominator is going to be doing the national anthem again. Actually, I need to reverse. Wednesday, I forgot, the Old Stars are going to be doing a hand fire show. So kind of old school style.
Hey,
so anyway,
Craig, I don't mean to jump you off there, but I have a question for you. So you got a hand fire style show. Do you guys do a hand fire competition show? Because a buddy of mine, Doug, has been really wanting to do something like that, and I don't think they ever have anything that's exactly like that.
Paid question by Doug.
No, we do not. That is actually pretty interesting. I'll have to run that up the flagpole and see what
Isn't the PGI All Stars kind of similar to that?
So yeah, the All Stars is some. So we've had some kind of a few issues with the All Star guys, and they kind of broken up to what they call themselves the Old Stars, and then Friday night we have what's called the Builders Showcase. The Old Stars, which they've done in a couple of years past, they like to do a hand fire traditional style show. So it's all hand built by them, and they're brave enough to go out there and hand light all this stuff, and they have a blast out there. But on Friday night, we have what we call the Builder Showcase, which is people are out in the Area 51 manufacturing all this stuff, or they sometimes bring it with them or whatever they do. But I was talking to the All-Star chairman, and Nick Layden is going to do a 1-4 pro segment as part of it as well. So that should be really pretty cool. He's the one who scripted the flag that was done on last Friday, the Friday night at PGI in 2023 with
I think that was
Dominator.
Dominator. Yep.
Yep.
Dominator. Yep.
Yep. So he is wicked talented, and it should be interesting to see what he comes up with. And then on Friday night also, then we'll have the mum class that I was talking about. They'll do their show, which is typically, almost 20 minutes long. Derek Miller does a great job getting those guys together and building and putting it together and stuff. And then we have the final show is going to be Spirit of 76. And Verge Arrow are going to be doing a thing again together. And I'm pretty excited to see what that comes. But I've heard a rumor that the RKM Takeover might be having some cool stuff too.
Yeah, we've got some things in the works. Still working on some final details, but yeah, we've got some. I don't know, James, you want to kind of talk about it a little bit, or?
Oh yeah, sure. So AJ's here, so AJ is basically starting the whole RKM takeover with his shows, and then after AJ's shows, it'll move on to the shows that David and I are currently working on.
Yeah, perfect.
So what's up with your guys' show? What do you guys have planned for it?
James, are we wanting to kind of spill the beans a little bit, or are we just kind of wanting to keep it under wraps, brother?
We could spill a little bit of the beans.
Yeah, go ahead.
A little bit of the beans.
A little bit of the beans.
A little tiny bit, we're planning on, maximizing whatever distance we have in the field, putting more positions out than we've traditionally done before.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're trying to beat, AJ's Q count or anything, but we're gonna get up there.
Donnie's, not mine. Donnie's. 1-3 Q count.
Right.
And was that maximizing the distance? Was that code for something?
That it's rare that we get a field as large as we get. So, when we have it, we'll use it for sure.
Yeah. I know on Sunday night we're looking at doing some drones. Verge Arrow is we're still in prelim on talking about all that, but we most definitely have some we have some drones we're going to be putting up. I think we're working with some DMX, some lighting out there, so it's going to be kind of an all-encompassing display for the closing show. I think AJ, you're just kind of looking at doing some pyro. Am I correct?
Yeah, just pyro. We'll see if anybody.
It's also boring. It's pyro.
Yeah, it's just
pyro, right? Yeah, it's whatever. I don't know. We'll see. I know I'm going to send the music track to you guys though, but I think I'll be the first to play some maybe kind of heavyish music out there.
Yeah, all right.
I'm guessing. I sent you a song last night, so
yeah.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, if it stays along that, I think it's going to be great.
Clean lyrics, but a little heavy.
Yeah, good. And kind of while we're here, Donnie, I think there's prelim that you're doing a show at PGI. Maybe Craig doesn't even know this yet, but
I don't think it hasn't been put out there very much. But I'm actually going to be working with Ed at Dominator for the national anthem on closing night.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So
yes.
Yeah, really good news all coming for the event. Craig, you kind of want to talk about maybe how this kind of came about and kind of why RKM's doing a takeover night.
Yeah, well, I think from what I've been told, that somebody reached out to PGI back at APA in fall, and we just started to have some conversations. And
huge shout out to Zach.
Yeah, that was Zach. So I talked to him a few times, and kind of went back and forth of what we're kind of looking for and things of that nature, and just kind of snowballed from there. And I'm learning about new stuff that's happening tonight too. So I'm pretty excited, pretty awesome. It should be pretty cool. It's just I'm glad you guys stepped up and thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. And it's, I do it for everybody else and the members. So it's really pretty cool that people like you guys are willing to step up and put your own personal time into something to do a show. So
No, really, we appreciate it.
thank you.
It's an honor to do a show, and I think AJ, this is your first time actually scripting a musical with 1-3. Am I right?
No, I do it with Doug, remember?
Well, okay, all right.
Oh, yeah. This will be my biggest field I get to play with
All right.
1-3 and 1-4. But this will be my first time at PGI as well. So it's kind of cool to be able to shoot a show for the first time there and be able to enjoy the event at the same time afterwards. So it's like a bonus, I guess.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, we'll have to, once you're done doing a show, we'll have to get you around and show you around the place and give you a tour.
Definitely. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to try to maximize my budget too while David's out there. I'm going to switch some mods around so I can get some bigger shells in there. Hey, everyone's gone. Switch.
Security's on the field, right, Craig?
There's that 16. I'll have my RKM shirt on. Don't know.
Yeah.
Now, I'm really looking forward to it. It's, Sunday night's really panning out to be a pretty great show night. Pretty pleased with how it's all come together. So it should be something to be seen. So hopefully everybody gets there and gets there early and, doesn't show up halfway through convention because you're going to miss a great night with the RKM takeover. That's for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. And go ahead. I'm sorry, Donnie.
No, go ahead, David. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I'm really excited about being able to do this display. I know I've done shows at CobraCon. I've done shows at, Sky Wars. So I'm really looking forward to, doing a show at PGI. It's kind of always been on my bucket list of things to do. And being able to work with James, collab with James, we always try and do something funny I don't know, I guess it's kind of a trademark of ours to do something funny for the first show. And I think Donnie tried to steal that at Sky Wars last year, but that is water under the bridge, right?
Right, exactly.
Round one, fight!
So, Craig, you want to, as we kind of wrap up our night here, you want to go back through when the public nights are again for everybody?
Yeah, public show nights are Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. And what that means is we invite the public in to watch these amazing displays that these guys put on and put their heart and soul into, and get to see something that they probably or may never see again in their lifetime. And so it's kind of one of the ways we can give back to the community instead of just coming to their town and making noise for a week. Try to put on some spectacular shows and do some things that aren't typically done at a 4th of July show or things like that. So it seems to have worked well in the past, and we've actually gained members that have seen our show, and then the next year they become a member and they just come to watch the shows, and that's about it. But they get to sit on the other side of the fence, as they call it, and they think that's pretty cool. So,
does the public come in for free, or is there ticket pricing for them?
There's ticket pricing. They buy a ticket, typically between, I think last year was $10 and Friday was $15 or something. They typically range from $10 to $20 per person.
Are they able to purchase ahead of time anywhere online?
So the venue or the host area or whatever you want to call it, they're typically responsible for selling public tickets. So I know that's one of the things we're kind of working with right now with BIR is when they're going to start selling tickets. I think there's been a little bit of a miscommunication about when they can and not, but we're working through that. But they typically go on sale in May, June 1st sometimes is around there. And, most of the, if there's somebody traveling for it, they're going to be for sale at the BIR ticket box. I don't know if they're going to do it online or not. It might just be a physical thing. I haven't worked through those details yet. So, but yeah, it's, if you're a member, you don't have to buy public tickets. Your convention registration fee gets you in on those nights as well to be able to see. You have your own, call it, seating area with other PGI members, and most everybody brings a lawn chair to sit in, and um, most people leave that lawn chair sit there all week, or they take it back with them, or whatever they do. But usually you can find a place to sit, unless you're super picky and you want to be right at the zero line, right, front of house, dead center. But you're not going to see
Who
anything
doesn't?
because audio's there and all the shooter tables are there. So it never works well when people put the chair there. I was like, you probably want to move 15 feet the other way. You're not going to see anything.
Yep.
So
yeah. It's not always best to just be on the front lines. Sometimes I found it's, move back a couple 100 feet. You get a better view. You can see, everything from left to right and not have to, constantly move your head back and forth and try and see the whole field. So,
yeah,
I think many people understand you want to kind of watch the show at a slight angle because you can see something totally different. I don't know if you ever noticed that watching a pyro musical show, just a slight angle, you can really just see everything a lot more than just straight dead on because you have to turn your head so much.
Yeah, I agree. And these shows with the fronts being 600 and possibly even a little more, that's huge. And like AJ was saying, you're just moving your head back and forth, and it's almost like you're just cranking it one way to crank it the other way. And
yeah, exactly.
That's definitely one of the biggest things about this site that I'm excited about, to be the first time to be able to have Comet shoot at 90 degrees on the outer edges and be able to fold them in, because it's just something you can't do. Like at Skywards, you can't do that. And I've never had access to a field that big to do that. So there's some cool shapings that I'd like to be able to finally be able to do, I should say.
Yeah. Well, while we're on it, AJ, do you have a frontage position count yet?
Not really. I mean, I have 2 positions I have set up already. I have a backline position, a frontline position, just kind of like we did at Skywars.
Okay.
But I think I'm going to keep a majority of it in the back. I don't like going past 30 feet on each one of them, but I think since we have so much foot here, I might just do the 45 and see how far I can spread it out. I know there's a couple shapings that I'm trying to figure out, and it's not really working with 30 or 45. So maybe we'll do that testing at that event on the 23rd. See what we can do.
Yeah, pretty excited about that. Yeah. So Craig, question for you. I know we kind of talked about Spirit of 76 doing the closing display with Verge Aero. Do you have any insight on that? Do you have any secrets that we're able to talk about with that show? Or
well, they're bringing some drones back, and the word on the street is the drones that they used last year are going to be child's play compared to this year. So
okay.
I've heard the counts in the thousands. We'll see what they come up with. But
all right.
I don't know. But whatever they can come up with, with 1,500, 2,000, 2,500, whatever the number comes out to be, it's going to be something to be seen. That's for sure, because that's going to be a lot of birds in the air flying around with pyro. So last year they had just over 850.
And
so
that became,
it
became kind of a phenomenon on YouTube for sure.
Yeah,
social media, it really blew up.
Yeah, Chris was telling me he was over somewhere over the sandbox, and he was talking to somebody, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we saw the video, the fireworks with the drones and whatever." And he was just like, "Everywhere I go, somebody's always talking about that." And if you missed it last year, the best way I could describe it is it was something out of a movie production. It takes a lot for me to drop my jaw and be like, "Wow, that's crazy." It was crazy. That's for sure.
Yeah,
it was definitely really the first time Oh, go ahead, David.
No, I was just gonna say, it was an experience to see in person for sure. I was sitting there and started to see everything like shape and come in together, and I'm like, wow. And then it started to move, and they started to shoot the lasers and then the gas mines, and it was an all encompassing thing. It was wonderful.
It was definitely the best integration with fireworks and drones that we've seen yet.
Yeah, totally was. I was going to say, it was the first time I saw something and I was like, To me, I thought drones and fireworks. I'm like, all right, and it's never really going to happen. Then I saw that, and I'm like, someone figured it out.
Yeah.
You figured out how to use it and do it correctly. Even on video, it looked amazing. So, if they do something similar this year, I'm excited because I'm be able to. Well, I don't know if I'll be there on Friday. Man, I just forgot about that.
Oh,
You
can
do it.
I watched the video.
I don't work for RKM that much, man.
You better request the days off.
I only get so many.
Yeah, I've watched the video a couple times and showed some people it, and AJ, I got to tell you, the video doesn't do it justice.
Not at all.
I believe you. Trust me. I believe it's like watching fireworks with videos. It doesn't look the same. So I could only imagine if it looked that good on my TV, I could imagine what it looked like in person.
Yeah, it was one of a kind, that's for sure. And it was even the public. I went over to the public side after when they were leaving to talk to some of the people at the Convention and Visitor Bureau. And they were just blown away. Like, we've never seen anything like that. Never imagined something like that could ever happen. And leave it to those guys. They can do it.
You said something about new drones. Were you just talking about more drones, or did they have a new design they're coming out with?
New drones? No.
Yeah, I'll use the word newer. You said that they're bringing new drones. So maybe you just meant more drones.
More drones. I'm sorry.
Okay.
More drones.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, man, something new. What now?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So, all right, Donnie, I think it's about time to wrap this thing up. Let's talk about the next couple of weeks. I think next week we're just looking at you and I talking, and then the week after we have another guest. You want to fill us in on who we have and who we're going to have the week after that?
Yeah. Next week's you and I, and the week after that, we've got lined up Scott Smith and Cobra and Zach from Cobra.
Awesome.
We're going to get them on. We're going to talk a little bit about CobraCon. Obviously, Cobra Firing System, Ignite, kind of maybe what they have in the works. That's maybe going to be coming out maybe some soon. So talk about some new stuff there and get everybody hyped up for CobraCon.
Yeah, maybe even talk a little bit about the show lineup for that event as well.
Absolutely, yeah, it'd be a good time to release some information on that.
Yeah, wonderful. So. All right, guys. Well, appreciate it. Thanks again, Craig, James, and AJ. Really appreciate you guys coming on and talking. I know this has been a little bit longer than we normally do, but appreciate the listeners sticking around, listening, getting to where we are. Glad we were able to talk a lot about the PGI convention this year and upcoming conventions. Spilling the beans, we were able to talk about all the shows coming this year at this PGI and how you can attend, how you can volunteer out there. Strongly encourage you to get out there and volunteer.
Yep. Yeah. Well, so Craig, thank you again for being here and joining us tonight. And any final thoughts for everybody out there?
I think thanks for having me, and it's been fun, and maybe we can do it again sometime. Some other stuff and whatever. But everybody, please come and join us at the PGI convention August 3rd through the 9th in Brainerd, Minnesota. And it's a one of a kind of experience. And I apologize. You'll be hooked after the first time.
All right, guys. Hey, well, again, thank Craig and AJ and James for joining us tonight, and hope to see everybody at PGI. I definitely will be there and see all you guys. And again,
come check us out if you see us there. Yeah, come say hi.
All right. Until next time, guys, go out and unleash your inner pyro.
This has been another episode of Pyro Unleashed. Come back each week for more industry insights, technical tips, and awesome pyro designs. Have fun out there, be safe, and as always, remember to unleash your inner pyro with us.